All right, go ahead and call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court to order. This is the 24th day of March, 2026, 8:30 a.m. in the Hill County Courtroom. This meeting is open to the public, both online and in person. We have a quorum present. Would you head and what's up? Do we have time? Yes, sir. If you will, lead us in prayer, please.
Let us pray. Almighty and merciful God, provide your wisdom and your guidance to our judge, our county commissioners, and all who gather here this morning as they discuss the needs of our county and make decisions that will affect and we pray benefit the people who live and work here in Hill County and those who visit. Protect our sheriff and sheriff deputies, as well as our local police officers, firefighters, paramedics, all first responders, and the men and women who serve in our military, especially those currently serving in the Middle East. Bring them home, protect them, and bring them home safely. Help our president, our governor, and all public servants at all levels of government that they would lead according to your will. May we all know and live according to the freedom and the responsibilities that you have given to us in Christ, our Savior and Lord. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Call me the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic that stands one nation indivisible for all. Honor to this flag. Pledge allegiance to the Texas. We say, one indivisible.
Well, Commissioner, how's your week been?
Well, it's been good. We got our work done on 12/11. And yesterday we brought in some cold mix and started patching some potholes. We have placed a culvert over on Crutcher Road and just had low base over it, so we needed that. Got some calls thanking us for that on this race. So we're shaping up 1414 between 67 and 1439. And then up to the point where we stopped chip sealing. And that'll be the second road that we chip seal this year. The first is going to be 1207, which is already pretty much done. We just have to go back and fine blade it. We've got all the drainage done and we'll do the chip seal on that pretty quick.
Commissioner?
Well, yesterday we've got 3 bridges left in precinct 2. 2 of them is on the repair state. And we replaced the cracking boards on it yesterday. And my guys before out, you don't believe how heavy 2-inch, 12-inch wide, 20-foot old boards are. But they did a good job. And back to hauling, hitting weak spots on the county road.
Still holding rock, and things blowing away about as fast as we can put it down, but holding rock, patching weak spots, and it's dry enough. We're actually working on some dirt roads, trying to get them kind of cleaned up before grass starts growing so wild. That's about it.
And we're right, you got lots of weak spots and we cover those up. I noticed from the report this morning, you've already bought $150,000 worth of gravel, so that's quite a bit of gravel for half a year.
Okay. Always good. Chief Whitcomb, what's the sheriff's office? That's good.
Very happily open the report. Everything's just fine.
Philip, with IT?
Judge, mostly business as usual in IT right now. Got a risk management conference next week that I'll be attending. So we'll do the deadline, we got the July deadline, we'll open the doors. And had our vendor come out last week, who's gonna provide us with a couple of proposals for an alarm system for the courthouse. So whenever that comes through, I'll send it over to you and take it back.
Okay. Ms. Lincoln?
We have just been busy. We did that.
All right. Constables?
Precinct 2's rolling, on papers. Fixes are a little low right now, but other than that, we did our first water safety training yesterday with Lockwood Chapel, us, Court Engineers, State Park Police, and the Sheriff's Office, and Chris Jackson out there. It's great to get in front of a group of kids and start pushing wearing your life jackets, so we're gonna keep some summertime instincts low.
Thank you for that. Good to see you, everybody. Yes, Lee. All's well?
Everything's going pretty good. Fire departments have been busy. The fire agent, if you actually bought them, working very well. So I had a couple of fires that they said they actually used it on and prevented them from getting much bigger than what they were. So they're busy trying to keep the fires down as people start mowing their grass or throwing a cigarette out the window.
Development service?
Business as usual, few little repairs, minor repairs on buildings, nothing major like we were dealing with before. Roof leak over at adult probation, we got that taken care of, got a couple of bids in, I know we needed some new roof at the Huron, and that's, got another bid on that, got a few plats on the agenda today, OSSF, going along the usual signs that the county is growing, so. Let's get ready for it.
Auditor's office?
We're just currently working on our audit, we should start, the work and start Monday or Tuesday next week. So it's the race to get everything to them, and so that they're ready to do our audit effectively and fast.
Busy. Okay.
I've got 3 juvenile hearings this morning, as Ms. Lincoln said, they've been busy. And so if you see me leave the meeting early, that's the reason.
You didn't get bored.
It's never been.
Possible.
Business as usual, and we just running paper, they come in, so nothing overwhelming, but not to say this.
Okay. Out of the county judge's office, we've also been busy, affected by each of these projects. But one thing I did want to take a moment to make an announcement for is something that's pretty important to me. We started a peer recognition program within the county. We talk a lot in Commissioner's Board about budgets and roads and infrastructure and all those things, but I was wanting to foster a little bit different atmosphere within the county and with its employees. And so this recognition comes directly from peers. It's not supervisors, no elected officials can weigh in on this program. And that's why I think it's so important. So the first person to be recognized for our Hill County Peer Recognition Program is Regina Honeycutt. If she'll come forward, please. Honeycutt was recognized by many peers, and semi-anonymously. And they conveyed that you go above and beyond every day. And for that, we'd like to present you with this. And so. Thank you. All right. Now we'll go ahead and move on to open forum. If you're here for open forum today, if you will, limit your comments to 5 minutes. I'll put the timer on. And when you come up to the podium, please state your name for us. Please here for open forum.
May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
You have your permission to hand this out, please?
Of course.
Okay, there you go.
And your name?
Linda Polly. Could you please wait and start my 5 minutes until I get this done?
Yes.
I appreciate it so very much. One of the documents is a resolution. The other two are documents that 2 residents were going to speak today, but due to personal issues, they weren't. So the best alternative was to present it to you and you can read it at your leisure. So, all right, ready to start. Okay, my name is Linda Polly. Today I'm here to speak for myself and many other citizens who want to save Hill County. I have 3 topics to cover. First is a request, second a warning, and third is an observation. First, let me address the request. As a representative of the citizens of Hill County, it is critical that you listen to the concerns of the citizens and act accordingly. Your personal opinions and desires should not overshadow the concerns of the people that you represent. The citizens of the county are extremely concerned about the direction this Commissioners Court is taking Hill County. Your lack of transparency, closed door meetings, and failure to hold public hearings is likely the reason you are so out of touch with the people that you all are here to represent. You have given tax abatements and incentives to solar farms, wind farms, and data centers, all at the expense of our rural way of life and the value of our property. We taxpayers are living amid this mess you have brought, and we are angry. Your legacy with these projects is a disaster. As I said to you repeatedly, growth for the sake of growth is not positive. We're getting the projects no one else wants. No one wants to live near these facilities. So with that background, let me now speak to the request. The request is to stop. Just please stop. We don't want any more. We request that you grant no further economic development incentives to wind farms, solar farms, data centers, and the like. In the regard, we have a proposed resolution, which I've given you, that we're asking you to place on your next agenda. This resolution adopts a ban on these type of abatements and the economic incentives. You can modify the form as you think appropriate, as long as the intent stays the same. We are hoping that at least one of you will agree to place this on the next agenda. We ask that you please consider the resolution, as many constituents want the issue put to vote. Next, let me address the warning. Your posting for the executive session is insufficient to give the public appropriate notice of what is being discussed. Using code names like Project Dispatch, Project Freeze Pop, Project Iron Current, and Project RA is disingenuous, and the posting is clearly designed to obscure the topics of discussion. And the last meeting, your attorney said you were not going to include going into the executive session because you were going to be more transparent and provide better notice. But instead of better notice, you provide code words with no way for the average citizen to determine what you were meeting about. This is not reasonable notice. The standard for appropriate notice for executive sessions was clearly set out by the Supreme Court of Texas in the case of Cox Enterprises, Inc. versus Board of Trustees. The Supreme Court of Texas stated as follows: less than full disclosure is not substantial compliance. Our prior judgments should serve as notice to all public bodies that the Open Meetings Act requires a full disclosure of the subject matter of the meeting. The act is intended to safeguard the public's interest in knowing the workings of its governmental bodies. A public body's willingness to comply with the Open Meeting Act should be that the citizens of Hill County will not be compelled to resort to the courts to assure that a public body has complied with its statutory duty. You have a statutory obligation you are not fulfilling. Your code words are not full disclosure and do not comply with the act. In addition, you have begun deviating from your standard of notice, as you are no longer describing the type of project, quote, data center, in your previous announcements. These type of deviations demonstrate a desire to circumvent the Open Meetings Act. As you know, your participation in an executive session that is not appropriately posted is a crime. I would warn you to think about whether you should ethically participate in the executive session as you have it posted today. This is a matter of ethics, and you need to follow the intent of the law. As your attorney, ask your attorney whether the posting meets the standard and whether deviations from set patterns in postings is problematic. I would ask you to avoid violations of the Open Meetings Act, post meetings appropriately in a manner that meets the standard articulated by the Supreme Court in the Cox case, and start embracing transparency rather than closed door deal making. My third point today is the observation that people are tired of the disastrous direction you are leading this county. We do not want any further wind, solar, or data centers. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Is anybody else here for open forum? No? Yes, sir.
Minutes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Dr. Michael Vallon. I've lived in Hill County my entire life. Went to Texas A&M, came back here. I intend to eventually start a veterinary practice in this community. I'm currently building a house in this community. But we have this development going on, we'll call it, for wind, solar, and now data centers. I've got a couple points I want to talk about that. Some are in my wheelhouse as a veterinarian, some are just observations as a citizen. The first thing we need to look at is the environmental impact on these facilities. I do not believe they are being adequately considered. So we have, let's look at the first thing, environmental impact of wildlife, avian species. There are countless studies you can look at of these effects of wind turbines specifically on migratory birds, which we have several threatened species that move through this county. We have several game species that move through this county. I'm sure some people here like to go dove hunting. We don't know what the effects on that are going to be, but I'm sure there's a study somewhere. We do know the effects on migratory birds like geese, large things like that. It's not good. We know the effects on raptors such as red-tailed hawks, peregrine falcons, things like that. Bird strikes are regular. Then we can look at other flying species that aren't birds. Let's look at bats. Bats are a major part of our ecosystem. They control bugs, they control other insects, they control mosquitoes. Millions of bats a year are killed by these wind turbines, not even just by direct contact. The vacuum created by a wind turbine behind the blade will explode their lungs if they're in any kind of proximity to these blades. Then we can move on from regular animal species to our livestock. There's a study out of, I believe it's 2012, Lisbon, Portugal. It was the Technical University of Lisbon. Their veterinary department had a study. They found a link between wind turbine vibrations and flexural tendon deformities in horses that are raised in nearby areas. That study really hasn't been followed up because there's not a lot of funding for it. So we don't really know what further cause these have on our livestock here in this county. Then we can look at water. Data centers. Most of these things are more than 1 million square feet in coverage, just the building, not even parking lots. And a lot of them collect water to use for cooling. So that's 1 million square feet of ground that normally collects water for runoff, for groundwater that goes into our streams, our rivers, our lakes that feed our drinking water, that recharge our wells, that feed our livestock and our wildlife. That water leaves the system. It goes into a data center that uses all that water till it's gone. We don't get that. And that'll be forever once that building is built. Then we look at solar. Solar does the exact opposite. They clear cut land that is normally either planted or has grass on it. Then we have extreme runoff, causing damage to our creeks, increased flow, things like that. Solar, that's the issue with that for water. When we look at the wind turbines, I don't really think I want to calculate how much water these are using and putting strain on our local water departments. I sat the other day on my horse and watched 25 to 30 trucks come in. I think there are about 500 to 600 gallons of water used to make that concrete each. Water is coming out of our supply that is already strained to the point of just not handling. So we can look at that. Now we have to look at habitat loss. I'm going to discuss that a little bit earlier. And people will say, well, farmland isn't habitat. Yes, it is. Deer graze and move across farmland. When you start fencing these off with razor wire for data centers and solar plants, guess what? You've just disrupted an entire area that these animals move through or forage on. That's gone forever until somebody wants to tear that building down. Now we can look at another concern that's a little less out of my wheelhouse as a veterinarian and more into the wheelhouse of everybody here, and that's the litter. I ride my horse about every Monday, and I ride the back roads between Bynum, Irene, and Malone. Been doing that since I was about 16. I have never seen this level of litter until the Hubbard 2 wind project started. A absolutely astronomical increase. Initially, I was going to start picking some of it up. Learned pretty quickly that that's just not tenable. I was out there for 30 minutes on horseback and had more than I could carry in a saddle. So I moved to just picking up what is specifically litter that's obviously used for electrical infrastructure construction. I have a collection of it. In fact, let's see here. This is a safety briefing from Mortensen that I picked up out of a pasture. A safety briefing, which they clearly took very seriously as it was sitting out in the rain and pasture. So that's not all. You know, I find electrical connections, parts, things like that. I don't think that Blackburn, high voltage, overhead electrical connections are being used by our local farmers to rewire their tractors in the field. But I'm finding boxes all over the place. I've got to the point where I don't even pick up the stuff that just repeat. I got a pile of it. If anybody wants to see it, I can go to my office and bring it in to show someone. From boxes, trash, and then there's the countless other trash that is clearly left by construction crews, but not specifically electrical components. It's more their lunches that they're throwing out, cigarettes, And some of it's dangerous. You know, anyone here who runs cattle or runs horses will know if your cow goes out and eats a plastic bag, that's gonna be a really expensive bill at the veterinarian when that hits the abomasum of the rumen and you've got a compaction. Same for horses, not to mention dogs and cats when I'm finding tobacco left out, which is toxic.
Thank you. Anybody else here for open forum? Yes, ma'am.
I am.
We'll do open forum online here shortly. Yes, ma'am, your name?
My name is Dr. Janet Birch, and I was born here in Hill County. I recently moved back about a decade ago. I currently live in the oldest structure in Hill County. I preserve the Wood family farm. And currently I'm awakened at about 5 a.m. every morning because there's a concrete plant behind my house. The lights from that concrete plant illuminate my bedroom. And it's the concrete plant that they are using to make the concrete for the bases of the wind turbines. I left Hill County. I was raised in Italy, Texas. That's where I graduated. And right after I got married, my husband and I left the very next day and we're gone for a little over 20 years. Why? Because my husband was in the Navy. So the prayer that was offered this morning, that was for, the safety of our veterans and people who are serving. My husband is a disabled vet. He has hearing loss and vertigo constantly. The wind turbines that are going to be between us and the rising sun will be seen in every room in our house. The real risk is that there will be strobe effect in my home that will impact my husband. Now, I noticed that everyone except this young lady here and this gentleman here who has on fishing shoes, you all have boots on, right? Because we live in Hill County. And Hill County is a rural county. And when we moved back, we wanted to move back to a rural county. And instead, we're getting industrial things like these wind turbines and the solar farms and the data centers. That's not what we came back for. And I think that I want to turn around and address the people behind me because I have a real sick sense of that the decisions have already been made. That the votes, the deals have been made. And that what we're doing here today is noise.
That's exactly right.
Okay, and that upsets me. It does upset me because I don't think that there's been full disclosure. And I teach in a college of business at the University of West Florida. Okay, and I teach innovation, I teach ethics, and I teach communication. I haven't quite mastered being upset, right? Because I'm very upset right now. When something doesn't make sense, it's because you don't understand what's going on. And I don't understand, and I don't think many of us understand why these industries are being allowed into Hill County. I don't understand why tax abatements are given to these companies. I don't understand, if it was, we're bringing jobs to Hill County, fantastic. We're not bringing jobs to Hill County with these things. We're not. Are they increasing our quality of life? No, that doesn't make sense either. I mean, I would love to see an HEB where I could get avocados that were ripe. That would be fantastic. Instead, I'm getting wind turbines that are surrounding my home, that are going to be noisy, that are going to do all the things that the veterinarians, right?
That's right.
Something doesn't make sense. This is not good for Hill County. This is not good for the citizens of Hill County. As our property values go down, are our property taxes going to go down? Is there a plan for that? You're not going to make up the money with the tax abatements. The companies are not going to be covering that cost. Our property taxes are going to continue to go up. Please don't do this. If there is any way that you can back out of any deals that have been made or plans that have been made, please, I beseech you, stop this.
Here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jeff Vallon. I've been here about 30 years. Just going to ask y'all one thing. We've got the wind. We've got the solar and Abbott. and everywhere else. We've got the data centers on each end. Can't we just sit and wait and see how they affect everybody? How they affect the land, the environment, and what kind of benefit they bring, if there is one, before we do anything else. If that's possible, can we just do that? Wait and see how these affect us. And listen to the people, how they affect us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mary Costa. I wasn't born in Hill County, but I got here as quick as I could. I've been here about 35 years, raised my 2 children here. Got one of them, went off to college, has come back, lives in Hillsborough. The other one is trying to get back here. That was until we've seen the disastrous effects of the solar farms, where I have a nephew who lives very close to them, is very concerned about the health effects on his daughters. I have a small farm. I am terrified what the runoff and stuff will do, how it will affect our crops, how it will affect my livelihood, and those around me. Hill County is a rural community. You're posting. This is my first Commissioners Court meeting, and the only reason I came is because your posting was so vague and infuriating and insulting, really. If you don't have anything to hide, why would you not tell us what you're doing?
Right.
Yeah. I want to protect my family. I want my neighbors protected. I fully support the right of everyone to do what they need to do and want to do on their land, but their right to do what they need to and want to on their land ends when it adversely impacts my land and my. Please consider that when you do what you're going to do today. I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else here for open forum? Yes, sir.
My name's Don Griffith. I live in the city of Itasca, which I feel like, from the commissioner's standpoint, we've been neglected, if you will. So I'm on the fire department, and I'm sure this man can speak to that as well. We're tearing our equipment up, running up and down this county roads that got potholes. We could lose a Volkswagen. And I know you guys have heard it all, you want to hear about solar farms, data centers, all of that mess. I'm here to say I've only been here 3 years. I moved here to get away from that crap. And I really seriously continue I'm building those. And while we're at it, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with them blades after they roll out. What we're gonna do with all the stuff that's left over. What we're gonna do with those buildings when this AI crap's done. You know, we gotta think about the future. And I moved down here for my future. I don't want to see that. And I know it's hard for me to discuss because I get real nervous and real emphatic, but we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna put them fires out. And what we're gonna need water for. We ain't got any water, what are we gonna do? Just let them burn? Anyway, I'm done.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Scott Bergauer. I live outside Penelope, Texas. We've lived there about a year. We're relatively new to the area. I'm a veteran. And so we wanted to find a spot that was pretty quiet. I worked in the oil and gas industry, so I'm going to focus on just kind of the economic consideration that I think may get overlooked with this. Just generally. they talked about blades and what has to happen with those, but the decommissioning of facilities is something that is very much overlooked when looking at tax abatements, and that's really the critical issue. So, you know, anything that's economically viable on the front end should not necessarily need additional tax breaks to remain viable. So that's kind of the front end consideration, because generally businesses have to operate in the existing tax environment. They should, right? So giving breaks up front front loads capital back to the investors who was building the projects, but ultimately it overlooks the long-term cost. Oil and gas has suffered from this for years, which is you end up with orphan wells, and you end up with orphan pipelines, you end up with orphan facilities, and the cash has already moved out to the people that invested it, and especially when front loaded with tax incentives and so on. But then on the back end, in 20 or 30 years, corrected for inflation, you have to have a decommissioning reserve. And in some states, decommissioning reserve is mandatory. Now, I'm all for capitals, love it. But the problem is when you walk away from something that needs to be decommissioned, you've left the cost with the taxpayer, the citizens, to figure out how to remediate these type of issues. You know, we've seen what happened with the turbine blade issue, both in Texas, where there's now a gigantic pile of them that someone has to figure out what to do with. But part of my career was in North Dakota, where the solution was to dig giant pits and just lay these blades in there. So there's no one really considered the cost of actually recycling them. We're just abandoning them in big piles like old coal mines. I mean, that land's going to be seeping epoxy resin forever. So what I would ask is, you know, as you consider what benefits are being proposed to be brought to the area through these projects, keep in mind that they often overlook the very large cost to take things down when they're done. If a company goes bankrupt, they're going to walk away from it. And you're going to have folks that are going to have eventually wind turbines falling down on their properties, because there's not going to be anybody there to do anything about it, and we don't have a budget for it. Similar issues exist with solar. And data center issues primarily, I think, a risk assessment, which is a fire and things like that in those types of buildings is well outside the containment capability of any of the fire departments around the county. Certainly Penelope couldn't deal with one if we built one there, right? So that's what I ask, is that some consideration be given to the long-term cost that probably isn't in the proposals you've seen, probably doesn't include the hundreds of millions of dollars that it takes to take down entire wind farms or whatever those numbers are. They're huge, I'm sure. They can get them here, but they don't know how to get them out, and that kind of stuff before approving things of that nature, realizing that ultimately the deals made, whatever errors there are, fall on the people sitting back here to pay for when it comes time to solve whatever problems the companies no longer are willing to or can afford to solve.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else physically present for open forum? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Melinda Kavanaugh, and I'm from Hubbard. Actually, I don't live in Hubbard. I live between Hubbard and Dawson. And after you're talking about decommissioning, I'm wondering how many of you commissioners have gone down to Hubbard to where the data center is being built recently? Raise your hand.
Oh.
Have you seen what they've done to the landscape? From my porch, I can see a new hill in Hill County. What is that there for? I don't know. but it's above everything else that I can see. I can see down towards Mahia, and when I turn, here's this new hill. They dug reservoirs, they cleared all that land. They have changed the landscape on, I don't know how many acres is that data center property. Is it 800 or 1,800? I hear all kinds of different amounts of acreage. But we are not more than about a mile from the data center. And that hill worries me because I can only guess from the information I've read about the Hood County data center that is for noise. You know, so that it will maybe scatter the noise. I don't know. I don't know. You know, again, we haven't had enough information from y'all. We got information from the data center people, but you know, they were selling it. And so I live on property that was settled in 1870 by my great-grandfather. And all I can think of is we have been here 25 years to preserve that property for our children. And this is what we get. We're going to have the noise. We're going to have less water for our cattle. And that decision was taken out of our hands because we didn't even know about it until it was already being cleared. Thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you very much for taking time to listen to these people today. I hope you listen with an open mind. By the way, Lori Bell.
Thank you.
I understand what you're trying to do, I believe, is to promote growth in Hill County. I understand that. And I think that's an important obligation, right? But at the end of the day, evaluating the character, and quality of life in Hill County is important. Listening today, what I heard was there's folks that have moved here because they want to live in a wonderful rural community. And they moved here for that. I would say to you that a couple things. One, from a credibility standpoint, I think the posting is concerning. I mean, you know, when you post Project Freeze Pop, Dispatch, RA, and you've previously posted, hey, Dana Center, Solar Center, she raises a very good point. Is that not obfuscation of what you're doing? We would just ask that you're transparent, you know, hold public hearings, listen to people, hear what they've got to say. And at the end of the day, you as elected officials will vote theoretically to support what your constituents have asked you to do. But let them know what's going on. Do it openly. You don't have to divulge the details of your agreements, but think about it in a tax abatement agreement, for example. Should we put some rational protections in? Maybe have a distance between the facility and another property so that people aren't adversely impacted. Those are things you can do. I mean, at the end of the day, you cannot control the growth that comes here, but this is incentivization. I think what these people are here to say is, hey, please don't continue to incentivize these projects. They decide they want to come, they will come. That's the free market, that's business. But when you vote tax abatements, you're incentivizing them here. Guys, this is a groundswell revolution for Texas. Look at what you've got in Van Zandt County. Look what you got in Hood County. There's counties across the state with people standing up and saying, that's enough. Because from a legislative standpoint, there's not a lot of statutes today, right, protecting property owners from certain types of development. Fact of the matter is, the environmental issues, we're not studying and been here long enough. There's a medical study out of Canada that talks about wind turbines having a detrimental effect to their physical health. There's the wind flicker. There's all these sorts of things. What I would tender to you today is this. Y'all are trying to do the best that you can, I believe, as elected representatives for Hill County. You've adopted solar, you've adopted wind, you've adopted a data center, you've granted tax abatements for these. Maybe give it a little bit of time and see what the result is. See how it impacts the economy. See how it impacts the way of life. See if it affects the amount of, residential growth, ranching, those sorts of things. See what happens to the habitat. See what happens with the environment. We don't have to rush to let every project come in as quickly as possible. So I have no idea what y'all are gonna talk about if you go into executive session today. No idea, because I can't tell. I have no idea what it is, what type of project it is. No idea. I don't think anybody does, because the posting is that vague and ambiguous, right? If you decide to go into that meeting that really hasn't provided a lot of information to the public so that they could be here, maybe think about the fact that you've got a bunch of folks. I think this is a small fraction of the people that are fundamentally concerned. It takes a lot of courage for people to get up here and talk. It takes a lot of courage for people to get here. It takes time. A lot of people have to take vacation so that they can come and visit with you, because it's, during the day. So understand, a lot of people are concerned, a lot of people are scared. We've started these initiatives. Why as a county can't we wait and see whether there's any benefit before we jump off the cliff and do a litany more projects? Think about it, study it, evaluate it, learn from it. I have no idea. I mean, if y'all have evaluated studies, if you've looked at the long-term economic impacts of these, I don't know. But have a public hearing and talk about it. If you believe in it, if you think it's the right thing, have a public hearing, invite the citizens, educate folks. And then I think you'd have a lot better time getting people on board. But when it shows up in your front yard and you really didn't have any idea that it was happening, it's concerning. So help us out. Be good stewards, be good representatives. Listen to the voice of some of the people that are here. Give it some time and think about what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here for open forum? Yes, sir.
John Bell, Abbott, precinct 3. Very articulate people have spoken today. They really said some very, but the things that they have said, wisdom in them. And a lot of people are talking, this is just a typical iceberg here. Like the person just said, just a very small representation. These things are very unpopular here in Hill County. They are destroying our way of life, our rural way of life. They are destroying a very, very valuable farmland. That will never be farmland again. And there's going to be a lot of unintended consequences in the future about with these things when we're up, and all of us here are long gone. So you need to think about that. And also, these things, these projects, data centers, solar farms, wind turbines, and whatever, they are being stopped all over the country by people like you, commissioners courts and town council, township councils and things like that, who are listening to their constituents. There's no regulation here in Texas that are stopping it, but you guys can do. There are things that you can do, like she said. The last speaker said you can set boundaries and things like that. That's one of your, I believe that's part of your job description, isn't it, Judge? That you can set boundaries and distances and things like that for projects.
State law does not give me that.
I thought I saw that in. But there are things you can do, and you can do what you can do it. If you've got the will to fight these things, you can stop them, because like I said, they're being stopped all over the United States and places in Texas too. So listen to us, protect us. You're not really protecting us. It's like the last speaker said, they're showing up in our front yards or around our property. And then there's nothing we can do. And there's going to be unintended consequences coming around here up in the future.
they will never be able to completely clean these, when the solar is decommissioned, they're not gonna be pulling up all of those posts out of the ground that the arrays are on. They're just gonna cut them off at the, like 36 inches or so underneath the surface of the soil. We'll never be able to plow in there or do anything like that again. So you need to think about that and need to act within the parameters of your job and stand up for us. We don't feel like you're protecting us. We really don't. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. I believe I saw somebody else stand up for open forum. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is William Zimmerman. I've lived here for 20 years. I've been in education here for about 4 years, and I'm now working for the government here. And I wrote something just a few days ago that I want to read to you. It was written in frustration, but I think it reflects very well what has already been represented here for you. And then I want to make an appeal to you. I don't want to end on, I hate you, because that's how we feel. That very much is how we feel. But you opened this session by praying to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yes,
I want you all to think about that.
I think about it.
I want you all to think about the one whom you name. A series of green energy projects have suddenly taken root in our area. Across the street from my house, the house I and my family have lived in for almost 20 years, the house that my father worked and slaved for and died in, the house that my grandmother and grandfather invested their livelihoods to build for their children and their grandchildren, a benefit they themselves would never live to see. A wind tower is being built within 1,500 feet of our property. Do you know what these wind farms power? Precisely nothing. The infrastructure does not exist to get that electricity to the places it actually needs to be, and will not exist for another 20 years. That is, never. Even if it did exist, the net electric output of all of the wind farms in the United States combined accounts for a meager fraction of the energy production required to power your cities, your homes. The rest, is generated primarily by electric power plants strategically zoned on a meager fraction of the acreage required to build a wind farm or a solar farm or a data center, for that matter. Some of these power plants have been in operation for nearly a century. Can you guess how long the average life cycle of a wind turbine is? Anywhere between 7 to 10 years. At most. Some are never even activated when they're built. They are left to stand as a monument to the greed, pride, and avarice of your powers, your rulers, your elected officials, and their corporate benefactors and beneficiaries. The previously productive ground on which the turbines are built is rendered forever unproductive, and within a decade, the wind farms go out of operation. Meanwhile, electricity and water prices continue to rise while property values continue to fall, because no one wants to live near a wind farm. The devalued property is gobbled up by foreign corporations with direct connections to organizations like the Chinese Communist Republic, and the cycle repeats itself ad infinitum. This is not an effort to save the planet. It is controlled demolition on a scale you cannot begin to fathom. It is civilizational suicide enacted through the legislation that passes under the eyes into the sticky, grease-stained fingers of the people you elected to defend and represent your interests. Billions of acres of otherwise productive ground is being rendered unproductive and being converted into wastelands, all in the name, the fraudulent name of green energy. Your politicians have sold you out. Your politicians have sold you out to foreign interests. How does that make you feel? When I say that this was sudden, I mean that as starkly as I can possibly mean it. This has been a 5-year development, and we did not find out about it until construction began 3 months ago. We were not informed by our politicians nor by the corporations who are pushing these dying initiatives in order to reap federal subsidies, which will sunset within the next 4 months. Yes. Our politicians have sold us out to foreign interests, and now they are harder to find and harder to reach than ever before. Our county commissioners sit in their high halls with hardened faces like steel as the people who elected them explain their grievances. Do you think they hear? My politicians have sold me out to foreign interests. And now let me tell you how I feel. I feel angry. Angrier than I have ever felt in my entire life. Angry enough to set the whole world on fire. And I am not alone.
Yes, that's right. That's so true.
Now, let me say something before I step down. You made an appeal to Jesus Christ this morning. I will appeal by the same name to you. Look on what you do and the people you affect, please. Make the decisions that you know are in our interest and not in yours. I don't know how much you were paid. I could care less. Stoop low, as we've done today.
Yes.
In his name, amen.
Amen.
Anybody else here for a call? Come on.
Adam Strunk, lived in Hill County.
Adam?
Adam Strunk.
Thank you, sir.
Lived in Hill County for 44 years. This is a Tuesday with a meeting at 8:30. When someone said this is just the tip of the iceberg, I just want to assure you it is, because there are many people that feel exactly the way we do. I just want to say that.
Anybody else here for open forum? Doing well, sir. How are you?
My name's Sean Young. I live in Irene. My family and I moved here about 7, 8 years ago. I grew up in the heart of the Mountain Shell. I lived with a lot of what's going on here. I know this is not the oil field that's going to move in, but it's the same folks. They're greedy. They're chasing a dollar. They don't do good background checks on their employees. I've got 3 kids in a farm, and my kids can't enjoy the farm the way they used to anymore because we have strangers up and down our road that we don't know and we can't trust. The traffic has increased tenfold, and whenever they get a phone call because of their safety rules, because I work in the electrical industry, they've got to pull over. And when that phone rings, they pull over with it rings. And sometimes it's in a marked truck, sometimes it's in an unmarked truck. It's not very safe for them, but much less our kids. We moved out here to enjoy the rural lifestyle. Me and my wife both grew up in a rural community that was squandered away. And we moved to Hill County because we believed in the values that we saw here that we are not seeing anymore. So I have to say, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else present for open forum? All right. We've got one online that I know of. If you're here for open forum online, if you'll unmute your microphone, please. Tell us your name.
BZ Watchdog, Hill County. I kind of want to. I couldn't be there today, guys. And for anybody that was expecting me there, I do apologize. I'm out here on the ranch, getting some things done. Was not able to make it physically. I am here speaking. I want everybody to give themselves a pat on the back for showing up and speaking, because there were a lot more of you guys speaking today than there normally have been. And that's what I've been trying to push for. Everybody calls me a professional agitator. Well, guess what? It's allowed all of you guys to get some courage to come and speak about these things, so I'm not the only one doing it on your behalf. As far as in these public officials, okay, 3 of them are asleep. Can somebody touch them and make sure they're still breathing and awake? you know, especially from precinct 2, 3, and 4. Can you all wake up? Um, Judge Brassel, some of this you look like you've been paying attention. Some of it you kind of look like you've been zoned out. So I don't know how much of it you're taking to heart. You guys are all public officials. Uh, Judge Brassel, you signed up for the Army. You took an oath. You took another oath when you became a sheriff's deputy. You took another oath when you became a JP. You took another oath when you took that county position. All these commissioners have taken an oath of office. They serve the people. Doesn't matter. You're not there to get rich. You're. I don't care if you do it for free. I don't care if you do it for a $50,000 a year salary. But everybody, including myself, who's a citizen of Hill County, we pay taxes. So we expect you to pay attention, listen to us because you represent us. If you can't do the job or you don't want to do the job, vacate your position. Commissioner Lake, we appreciate you getting ready to step down. I don't think that's much by choice with this last election, but we appreciate it. We need someone in there that can step up and actually do the job. Commissioner Holcomb, I have been watching this whole time. He has been in tune, taking notes. I don't know Commissioner Holcomb personally. I've only talked to him twice. He seems like someone who actually is trying to represent the people, and I wish we had more commissioners like that. As far as what everybody touched on today, man, you guys hit it all on the head. I was going to talk about these tax abatements. There should be no reason to give tax abatements for companies that want to come here. I mean, there was like 3 people that said the same exact thing. You guys are spot on. We don't need this here. Something that kind of was briefly brought up. I have pictures from precinct 4 outside somebody's ranch where these trucks, there was a big wreck or something yesterday or the day before from these semis coming down and tearing up our roads to bring these wind turbines and other things. There should be a truck route. There should be a truck route going through Hill County to where it's not tearing up the ranchers' roads. I drive down these county roads. They have not been repaired. Okay. I mean, they're in horrible. We have to kind of throw some gravel down and kind of repair them ourselves, which we're not supposed to do. I apologize. That's the ranch life for you. Um, but I do want to touch on these abatements. We really don't need abatements. If they want to be here, make them pay for it. We came out here to enjoy the rural area, not the city life. I'm a city guy. I came out here to enjoy the quiet, slow paced lifestyle, and that's what I plan on doing. Um, I don't know where I'm at for time, but I just want to touch on something else, and then I'll release it because there were a lot more people speaking today, and we need to get on with proceedings. The jail standards. I looked at that jail report. I got it. You guys say it passed. It's not hard to pass when they only inspect like 5 or 6 things instead of the entire inspection list. It says not applicable, not applicable. And these are complaints I've gotten. So why were they not applicable? Why weren't they inspected? I feel like this inspection was tailored to pass after all this bad publicity and that the things that were addressed weren't really inspected. It's almost like there's smoke screens. What I would like to encourage is all you commissioners, go take a tour of that jail. Go look for yourselves. Especially Mr. Holcomb, who seems like he's the only one that actually cares about his job because I'm still watching him pay attention. Everybody else looks like deer in headlights. I mean, I just don't understand you guys up there. Go take a tour of the jail. Go look at the jail facilities. Go talk to the guards. Go talk to the inmates if you can. Bottom line is go make sure that jail is really being ran the way that this inspection I'm looking at says not applicable. I mean, how's it not applicable on food? How's it not applicable on medical? It should be not applicable. It should actually be inspected. It should be looked at. There should be some sort of note, whether it be a pass or fail, not marked as not applicable. Anyways, I hate to say it. I got to get going. I appreciate everybody for showing up and speaking. Power to you guys. Keep coming. Keep making your voices heard. And hopefully I will be at the next commissioners meeting in person. But like I said, I've got to repair stuff out here on the ranch. So thank you for the time. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. We have anybody else online for open forum? Nobody signed up. I don't know. I've not been made aware of anybody else. But I don't see. Okay. Before we move into our agenda, I would like to say thank you for everybody that came out today. Having people involved in this process is the way it's supposed to be. So I do thank you for coming out. It does take courage to stand up in front of people that you may not know and speak. A lot of people do not like to do that. So I do thank you for that. Also, I don't think that I've ever announced or made aware, but I will meet with anyone. My office is open. I'll meet with you after Commissioner's Court today. I'll talk to anybody. Can't talk, oh, my time's up. I just can't talk with these gentlemen in the room. Can't see it. So if you'd like to meet with me, you can either catch me after court today, we can set up a time, we can talk after court today, or you can get with my court coordinator, Miss Christie, and we can schedule a time that's more convenient for you. I'm supposed to be available to you at all times, so I try to make that happen. We'll go ahead and move into the consent agenda. This is actually on minutes, invoices, payroll, monthly report for revenue and disbursement, and observe and report in the elected officials training certificates.
Make a motion for
Second. I have a motion and a second. Motion from Commissioner Crumpton, second Commissioner Holcomb. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So. Number one, discuss interaction on employee wage or status changes. We have. Two separations, Crystal Warren and Josh Ragger. 3 wage changes, Keith Manning, Gregory Mason, and Tina Patton. Make motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion to approve employee wage and status changes from Commissioner Hawkins, a second from Commissioner. Blake. No, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We have no items for number 2, discuss interaction on bonds, so we'll be skipping that one. Number 3, observe and record on-site limited compliance review of Hill County Jail by the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. As the gentlemen are aware, there was a. Well, I'll let Chief Westmoreland speak to it. There was a inspection on the jail, Chief.
Yes, March 9th. I'm sorry, I don't have that report with me. Do you mind? Thank you. Yes, sir, March 9th. We'll get the document a few days later. Limited inspection compliance review. This was the second annual jail inspection since Sheriff Barnes took office January 1st of 2025. Just to remind everybody, the sheriff's office inherited basically a failing jail. The Hill County Jail failed 2 of the 3 final inspections under the current sheriff's predecessor. The jail had failed multiple consecutive inspections, which resulted in being in enhanced inspection compliance with Texas jail standards, which was requiring the jail to report every 30 days to jail standards for the sake of inspections, regulation, and to keep the place open. So the policies, the changes, everything that we did and we put in place the first 60 or 70 days that Sheriff Barnes was in office, we had our first full facility inspection the first or second week of March 2025, and actually passed that first inspection with no deficiencies throughout the entire jail. That inspection, because of the quality of the inspection and how well everything went, pulled Hill County out of enhanced inspection compliance status with jail standards, put us back where we were supposed to be. Considering the 0 deficient inspection that occurred in March 2025, this latest inspection, it basically went the same way. We can't control what they choose or choose not to inspect whenever they come here. If it comes to dietary needs, we have to submit an annual dietary plan to jail standards that has to be signed off and approved by them, which includes caloric needs, protein needs, carbohydrate needs, dietary plans, illness plans, tuberculosis testing. I mean, you name it. If we didn't have all of these things on file with jail standards, our jail would not be listed as being compliant. So, there's a lot that goes into it. I could probably sit here and talk about it for the next hour. But we're very pleased with the outcome of the whole deal. This latest zero deficiency jail inspection that we incurred, I think, is more evidence that the jail is headed in the right direction continually since Sheriff Barnes took office. So things have been going really well in this aspect. So if I'm sure that the majority of you have already been through our jail facility at some point or another since you've all been commissioners or elected officials, please feel free to come down anytime you'd like. We run an extremely clean jail, and anybody that's ever been there will tell you the exact same thing. Inmates alike, whether they like the food or not is up to them. But our dietary line and everything else is in line with jail standards of what they require us to have. So I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, we're very proud of our staff for everything that they've done over this past year. As the sheriff previously said, it takes a lot to keep the jail in compliance day after day, year round. It's a true team effort amongst dozens of people that have to communicate, working opposite shifts sometimes, some days, some nights. It's a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week. We don't get those days off. It's nonstop. So very proud of our staff. They've done a great job with the whole deal, and we're happy with the outcome of it. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to observe and report. I have a motion. Second. I have a motion from Mr. Holcomb and a second from Commissioner Hawkins to observe and report the on-site limited compliance review of Hill County Jail by the Texas Jail Commission. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 4, discuss and or action on budget amendments. Ms. Sloan, would you like to speak to these?
Sure, I would just one,
Yes, ma'am.
for Constable Cordell was wanting to shift some money, I just have the budget amendment in front of me, so from,
Looks like from repair to supply.
I believe so. Yeah, $1,900 for purchase of a toolbox for his vehicle, so. And that's the only one we have.
So this is not affecting his overall budget, which.
No, it's just everything in the line item.
Make a motion to approve. Second. Have a motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 5, discuss and action on a resolution regarding legislation to improve county road infrastructure safety. Guess this one's mine. As the court is well aware, I'm fairly passionate about our county roads. And I have zero statutory authority over county roads. But it is something that our public is very passionate about as well, therefore. I am supposed to be passionate about it. And regardless of that, I am personally as well, not just for my job. What this is a resolution supporting legislation to improve county road infrastructure and safety. Session is over in Austin right now. Nothing's going to be done for the next 2 years, which is usually a good thing, having Austin not meeting. Because then they can't mess more stuff up. But when they do go back to meet, what I would like is Hill County to support this resolution to Austin, asking for them to allocate more money to county roads specifically, not state roads or FMs. Right now, the
0.68,
correct,
not even a penny.
they're not giving, yes. So this is called a penny for your county roads initiative. And I'll just read it because it can explain it much better. It says the state motor fuel tax established in 1923 and last adjusted to 20 cents per gallon in 1991 currently generates approximately $3.85 billion annually, of which 1/4 is dedicated to the available school fund and the remaining 3/4 to the state highway fund, with only a small portion, $7 million, allocated to the county road and road district highway fund. Whereas this allocation to Texas counties has remained unchanged since 1954, despite decades of population growth, inflation, and increasing transportation demands. and have significantly reduced the purchasing power of counties to maintain essential local infrastructure. And whereas this proposed legislation would allocate 1 penny, 1/20th or 5 cents of the state motor fuels tax to the county and road district highway fund to be distributed using the existing statutory formula. And whereas the state of Texas has also established additional registration fees for electric vehicles, $400 at initial registration and $200 annually thereafter to offset the reduced motor fuels tax revenues associated with non-fuel consuming vehicles. And whereas while the fees are currently directed entirely to the state highway fund, counties receive no portion of this new revenue source despite being equally responsible for maintaining and improving the local roadways on which these vehicles travel. And whereas a companion legislative proposal would dedicate 5% of electric vehicle registration fee revenue to the county road district highway fund and thereby ensure that counties share equitably in the revenue derived from all classes of vehicles using county roadways. And whereas increasing allocation from both the motor fuels tax and electronic vehicle registration fees would provide a substantial pay-as-you-go funding mechanism for counties' transport infrastructure without increasing tax rates or imposing new burdens on taxpayers, ensuring a fair, more efficient partnership between state and county governments in the maintaining the Texas transportation network. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hill County Commissioners Court does hereby find that it is in the best interest of Texas counties and their taxpayers to support and favor the passage of legislation that reallocates 1 penny of the state motor vehicle fuels tax to the county and road district highway fund and allocates 5% of the electronic vehicle registration fee revenues to county and district highway fund for distribution to Texas counties in accordance with the existing statutory formula as follows: 1/5 allocated according to area determined by the ratio of the area of the county to the area of the state. 2/5 allocated according to rural population determined by the ratio of the rural population of the county to the rural population of the state. And 2/5 allocated according to lateral road miles determined by the ratio of the mileage of lateral roads in the county to the mileage of lateral roads in the state as of January 1st of the year of the allocation as shown by the records of the State Federal Highway Planning Survey and the department. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the members of the Texas Legislature representing this county and to the Texas Association of Counties for distribution and advocacy in support of this legislation. Very long attorney language for, we want you to do this, please pass this legislation.
It needs to be upgraded from years ago. If it wasn't for FM lateral, we couldn't have any funds to work with county roads. It would increase to a penny. It would be tremendous help for the county roads.
And FM lateral hadn't been amended.
1954.
1954. Yeah.
So I make a motion
to submit.
Any other discussion?
I have a motion from Commissioner Crumpton, second from Commissioner Hawkins. Any further discussions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Number 6, discuss interaction on Department of Army, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers notification of government's intent to exercise option period 1 and associated contract for Three Rivers Increased Law Enforcement Services Aquila Whitney Lakes. I believe this is going to be in reference to our lake patrol contract that the Corps of Engineers contracts with the Sheriff's Office to provide patrol in the Corps parks.
Make a motion to execute.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Carries. Number 7, discuss interaction on Public Finance Act contract with Government Capital for the financing of 3 two thousand nineteen John Deere 772G motor graders, including the execution of all accompanying documents. This is a carryover from last report, just making sure that all of our documents are included in the record. Make the motion. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I had, when we were doing our inventory, they actually misclassified those as 219 John Deere motor graders. And in fact, they're 2020. And we had them send a corrected statements.
Okay.
On that, so they're actually 2020, they're the same motor graders that we had, we still changing the financing of them. But they've always been 2020. It's just the type of bracket here.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Second. Motion from Commissioner Lake, second from Commissioner Poppins. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
So the ones that we approved last week, we were the same thing, or they different?
They're same thing, but they're right.
It's just a scrivener's error.
Number 8, discuss interaction on public funds contract with Government Capital Corporation for financing of the entire 2-wheel drive chip spreader, including the execution of all accompanying documents.
Make a motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Hilton.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
That'll be delivered today, by the
Oh, good. Number 9, discuss interaction on National Opioid Settlement Implementation Administrator for 6 remnant defendants. Ms. Susan, do you have any information on this one that you'd like to present to the court?
No, I think David mentioned it. We've been receiving opioid payments from the state, and I guess this is another payment we're gonna be receiving. We have a special fund for that. I don't have any information.
Thank you. And as we know, those funds are very specifically earmarked. We can only use for very specific things.
Make a motion approved.
Second. Motion from Commissioner Crumpton, second from Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, discuss interaction on accepting, discuss interaction on Hill County Indigent Healthcare Program.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is just an updated version of the public notice that gets put out for the indigent healthcare program. It lets everybody know what our net monthly income for the federal poverty guideline is set at. And the only other update to it was that they can do a phone interview now as opposed to always being face to face in case they're sick or something like that, I think come in.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Hawkins, second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, discuss interaction on Hill County Indigent Healthcare Program. Nope, just go down. Number 11, discuss interaction on accepting Commissioner Lake's resignation from the Investment Committee. Commissioner Lake will be moving on from us shortly, so he is going to resign from the Hill County Investment Committee effective March 24th, 2026.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Hawkins, second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the next item, which is discuss interaction on adding a commissioner to the Investment Committee. Roseanne.
I'd volunteer for that.
Second. Make a motion, second.
I have a motion to accept Commissioner Holcomb as the commissioner that's going to be serving on the Investment Committee. Second from Commissioner Crumpton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 13, discuss interaction and purchase a 2026 Chevrolet Traverse for Hill County Juvenile Probation.
Good morning.
Lincoln, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
How are y'all this morning?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible. As you guys know, we are down currently in our transport units. We have 2 transport units. We recently gave up our, Ford Tahoe, and then the Chevy van was, taken out at some time ago as well. And so this is just approving this purchase. We did do the appropriate bid process, getting them from 3 different bids. We ended up going through Silsby Ford, which is the same agency that the sheriff's department uses. What's good about this particular bid is when they deliver the vehicle to us or when we pick up, it's already gonna be outfitted with the cages for transport. So we'll be able to get it on the streets fairly quickly. This is not costing the county any. This is coming from my internal budget that you guys have approved for me year in and year out. And y'all been very gracious with the funding that you provided to our department. So no additional funding will be requested, just simply needed the approval for the purchase.
Make a motion to approve the purchase 2026 Chevy Traverse.
A motion from Commissioner Holcomb, second from Commissioner Lane. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 14, discuss interaction on refunding a $200 donation to Richard Hunter for chip seal work on Hill County Road 1207.
So last year, we had a group of people not many people live on 1207. People that use that as a commuter road out to 933 got together and met with them. And we told them that we would have that road done by September the 30th of last year. Due to weather and some other issues that kept us from getting on the road, that work was not done. And I told all of the people that made the donation, if we don't have it done, you can get your money back because it's earmarked for that construction. Well, when we didn't hit that mark, I went back to all of them. And this gentleman is evidently in dire straits and he needs his $200. So I make a motion that we approve the refunding of his $200 donation. So, and again, everyone that made donations was afforded the opportunity to pull their money out. They said, no, if you're gonna do it this year, we'll push. So,
I have a motion and a second from Commissioner Hawkins. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, number 15, discuss interaction on bids for county supplies, offsite and onsite fuel, oil, road materials, corrugated steel pipe, petroleum supplies, and emulsions, treated lumber, all types of road-based contracts for crushing services, concrete and corrugated bridges, box culvert constructions, contracts for hauling, mobile truck and heavy equipment washing service, scrap metal bids, and other supplies or services to be effective April 1st, 2026. Ms. Susan, do you have any input on this?
Advertised for the bids. They were to be opened, or they were opened in your office on Friday. And have those available to y'all for your inspection.
yeah, we can get clearer copies of these, that would be really great. Some of these are not legible.
We could go through each section of bids. They were at road banks bids. I got an order. You have them?
The first one I see is fuel, petroleum products. Yeah, fuel, yes, ma'am.
So I just have the tabulation. So we received a bid from Scott Oil, Farmers Co-op, Dixie LP Gas, and Itasca Co-op. We used the state contract for the sheriff's office for fuel for people that have to move about and get their fuel at different locations.
Depending for consumption.
Yeah, well, sheriff deputies, they're all over the county. They can't go with one supplier. I think how y'all have done that before,
You know, on site,
Each-
outside.
Each precinct
commissioner
has.
dedicates which fuel distributor they want to use.
For that, of course, a lot of that's based on the availability, the proximity to your yards and all of that.
So, Commissioner Precinct 1 will be using Scott Oil Company.
Correct.
Okay.
Independent.
Are we doing this separately or?
Do a motion for each.
Do each.
Yeah,
All right.
Separate motions.
we've been doing it.
Yeah.
So I hear a motion
I
for,
make a motion to accept the bid from Scott Oil for fuel.
have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Commissioner 2,
Dixie LP because they can deliver with a transport and bring us 6,000 at one time instead of bobtail, so quite a bit of savings in that point. So make a motion to accept Dixie LP.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Commissioner Precinct 3,
We use independent oil for Dixie LP for onsite and Farmers Co-op Gin and Malone for offsite. Make that motion.
Second.
hold on.
And you use onsite.
Yes, ma'am.
And y'all are just what, onsite or?
Onsite and offsite.
I don't have
Onsite,
onsite.
offsite, because we will go.
I don't have
Yeah.
onsite yet,
So you're just offset.
just offsite.
On-site, off-site, because we do have two gas vehicles, and we do not carry any gas on the yard.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Commissioner? That's the call. Motion for both? Okay. A motion and a second for both onsite, offsite, and task cooperative for precinct 4. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. You move to. Road base. We'll have, by the way, gentlemen, we'll have these orders printed up after court, so don't leave, we have to have them signed for the record. Road base, we had Simtech Incorporated, Cranfield Materials LLC, Yannick and Witten Construction, Vulcan Construction Materials, and Connors Construction. Commissioner Precinct 1.
We use Cemex, Canfield, and.
We do this all
Yeah.
together.
So I'll make the motion, we accept all bids.
Okay.
Depending on quantity, quality, and availability.
Second.
A motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And that is because when Connors runs out of rock and we have to have it, we gotta go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or Syntec.
Amen.
Canfield.
Canfield.
The next is gonna be steel pipe and culverts. We only had one bid, Wilson Culverts.
Make a motion to. Cause they're the only ones they will deliver and they don't charge for delivery.
That's right. That's where I get all mine.
Motion and a second. Wilson Culverts. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is asphalt and emulsions. We have P2 Square Emulsions, Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, Cleveland Asphalt Products, and Texas Materials Group.
Make a motion to accept all of the bids.
I have a motion to accept all the bids. Second. And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Is it based on all that other?
Yes, quality,
Quality.
Based on quality, and availability.
Next is Bridge and Box Culverts, Yoder Bridges LLC and CXT Incorporated were the two bids received for bridges and box culverts.
I'll make a motion to accept both bids.
And have a motion to accept both bids. Can I get a second?
I don't know if you can accept both bids on that. The road materials is a different.
Yeah, the two.
We accepted both last year
CPX is
because-
box culvert.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have.
CPX is box culverts and Yoder is bridges.
So
So they don't tell the
Two
same thing.
separate things.
yeah.
Then just taking motion as such.
So. Your motion would be, accept
Yeah.
Yoder Bridges for bridges and CXT Incorporated for the
box culverts, yes.
Correct.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is material hauling. We have Yannick and Whitney Construction, Hillsborough Sand and Gravel, and Twisted Nail Broker Services LLC have submitted bids for material hauling. This one we do individually. This one we do individually. Yep.
Sorry, they both need. Based on availability and cost.
Well, you have to choose one.
Huh?
You have to choose one.
You can choose.
Okay, I'm gonna choose one then. I'm gonna choose the Hillsborough Sand and Gravel.
Okay. Precinct one, shows Hillsborough Sand and Gravel for material hauling. That's a motion. Or have a second. I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Precinct two,
Hillsborough Sand and Gravel.
Hillsborough Sand and Gravel with precinct two for material hauling.
Second.
In a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Precinct three,
Yannick Whitney Construction.
precinct three is using Yannick Construction for material hauling. Second. Have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Precinct four, Yannick and Whitney. Gonna be using Yannick and Whitney Construction. Second. I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Last one is on pressure washing. We received 3 bids, Rado Real Estate LLC, which is Blue Diamond, 4R Services LLC, and Washer Power LLC. I believe this is individual as well. Precinct one.
Rado Real Estate, Blue Diamond LLC.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for Blue Diamond LLC. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Precinct two.
Well, we really don't, we do our own power washing, but if I have to do one, it'd be, I guess, for our service.
Okay.
Second.
4R Services LLC for power washing services if needed. For precinct two, I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Precinct three.
We're the same way, but we got to choose one, we'll go with 4R.
Precinct three, if needed, will use 4R Services LLC. I have a second from Commissioner Lake. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Precinct four. 4R Services. 4R Services. Precinct four will be 4R Services LLC. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That completes that process. All right, number 16 will be skipping today. They have not got all the documents into us for their final plat. Number 17, discuss interaction on a preliminary plat for Marcel de la Padre, phase 1. Thank you, ma'am.
Whose is it?
Looks like Commissioner Lakes. Oh, yeah, you got it. Approval. It's a preliminary.
Oh, it's a preliminary.
So I have a motion from Commissioner Lake to accept the preliminary plat.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Hawkins. Any further discussion?
Subject to Jesse's signing off, he signed off on everything so far?
Correct. The only way they end up here is that Mr. Ince has approved them up to this point. Have a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, discuss interaction on preliminary plat for Treadwell School subdivision. Ms. Christie. Thank you, ma'am. This is off of County Road 2340 and County Road 2313.
Okay, yeah, Talked to Karen. Yeah. They was. Got a culvert permit. They got a culvert permit. They thought they could get by without putting a culvert in, but no, they're gonna have to put a 18-inch culvert for the entrance in there. Right, I make a motion for.
Motion to approve, a second from Commissioner Hawkins.
Safety.
Safety.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Number 19, Commissioner Hawkins expressed that he would like to reset that agenda item. It's executive session.
That's up to y'all. I believe the posting is sufficient for Ms. Perry to give an update on Hillsborough EDC's project.
Say that again.
I believe the posting is sufficient for Ms. True to give the Commissioners Court the general update of the EDC, Hillsborough EDC's project.
The city of Hillsborough
There was
project.
some confusion in the audience that was code names for data centers. And projects.
That's the city's code names. That's the city's code name.
Huh?
That's the city of Hillsborough.
It's the EDC's of things.
Correct.
But
The Economic Development Council. Yeah, not everybody knows what it is.
Not the county, and I think that a lot of people, and I heard in your comments that this was the commissioners going undercover trying to hide something, and that's very far from the truth. This is economic development for the city of Hillsborough.
well, it's my understanding that no action is going to be taken today. It's just an update, but
Just another day. It's good.
Yeah. All right, prior to going into executive session, Ms. Tanner would like that if you spoke this morning in open forum, she was trying to get everybody's names down for the record as fast as she could, but she couldn't keep up. So if you could, just tell her your name on the way out. Will you just send out a door? Okay. And just for the record, thank you. Correct spelling and all. Yeah. All right, so number 19, pursuant to section 551.087 Texas Government Code of Port of Hill County will meet in closed executive session to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the government body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near territory of the governmental body, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations on updates regarding economic development activity, project dispatch, freeze pop, iron curtain, and RA. Thank you.